What's up, everybody? Thanks for stopping in. Still on the Switch accessory series. This one's pretty much going to be the last video going in, and we are talking about docks. Now, this is the official first gen Switch dock, mostly because I don't want to move my OLED dock. I have one more dock video that I'm probably going to put out that's very similar to another product that I already reviewed, which was the Game Switcher. They have a dock that does the exact same thing as that switcher that attaches to the top half of the dock. If you haven't seen that video, go find it. One of my previous ones. It's a really nice accessory of where you're not having to constantly pop games in and out if your Switch lives in a dock a lot like mine does. But anyways, so the official Nintendo dock, I mean, nothing special. USB port, AC adapter, HDMI out, closes in the back, has your two USB ports on the side. I mean, the OLED one just gives you a bit more room in the back and an Ethernet port to plug into. That's why I use the OLED dock more, is just because I prefer Ethernet over wireless. But we've all seen these. It's a little hard to travel with this. Now, I will say your mileage may vary with some of these products. There are a lot of back and forth about third-party accessories and that and damaging the Switch. I have not run into that issue, but I also repair a lot of my own consoles. Most of the consoles I have purchased have been broken and I have fixed them. But a couple of ones I'm going to start with is they say this for Switch Type C hub, multifunction adapter. What it is, it's a USB C port. There's a USB C in, HDMI, and a USB port. These have been sold for years. HP sells these, Dell sells these. You can buy them on their stores. They're super freaking cheap. They're all over Amazon. Don't take the marketing and the hideous color scheme. You're going to notice a lot of that hideous color scheme today. That this isn't specifically for the Switch. You can use this on a PC or anything else that has a USB-C video like DisplayPort enabled on the USB-C port. This will work for it. I have a couple of these with my actual laptop itself. We use them at work a lot and a lot of our conference rooms. If somebody needs something to plug in, they need an HDMI port and they don't have it, we hand them one of these because if we never get it back, it doesn't matter. They're like $6. They're super cheap. They work. Next thing, similar to previous products. That, again, for Switch, USB-C to HDMI cable. There are a ton of these out there. All they did was color scheme it and label it for Switch. The other ones will work. They're the exact same thing. It's a USB-C port that goes into your Switch instead of needing a separate HDMI cable. The HDMI is built in on that instead of HDMI in. This one has the HDMI out, and it has a USB-C port for charging. You just don't have the regular USB port. This works fairly well. I mean, keep it in your bag. This is probably one of your better options if you travel a lot, like hotel rooms, getting into like the HDMI ports. It's one less cable to have to kind of carry with you. And you just throw this in your bag, chuck it in the Switch, throw this in the TV. But this is a long cable to really need to do that. And I don't know why it needs to be this freaking long. Very excessive. A couple other things. These are getting into mini docks. This is a video converter docking station. Now, this one I actually will give you a little bit more for the Nintendo Switch based off of the other things and for one reason. Pretty much what you do, you flip this around, it comes up, has your charging port, USB, your HDMI out, but it has the aligning notch for the Switch and just a USB-C port. It's extremely light, doesn't do a whole lot. Like I said, your mileage may vary. That damage to your Switch, that's up to you. I haven't had any problems with any of these products. Doesn't mean that you won't. So again, take it all with a grain of salt. This one's nice just because it flips around, comes back, stands up, has a pretty good, decent top half on the back to actually hold the console in there. It works. You can throw it in your bag, keep it, or one of those larger cases shown off in another video. Most all of these will fit in there except for one of them. This, very similar to the last one. Again, it's a switch dock. This one actually has weights inside of it. So this one has some weight to it and is closer to the actual regular dock than any of the other ones. Even the last one I'm going to pull up. It doesn't have the nice little fancy flip around thing like the other one, but I do like it just because it has some weight to it. It sits recessed. Again, has the little notch cut out for the switch. Honestly, you could cut that off and shove your phone into this and you'd get the exact same effect. But it does have two USB ports, your power in, you need an HDMI cable, and your USB out. This tends to be the one that I carry with me more often than not with another HDMI cable. Mostly I have my laptop with me, so I have a couple of HDMI cables in that bag for plugging stuff in. But I just like this one a little bit more than the rest just because I could set it down, switch slides into it. It's a bit more secure. Actually has a little bit of weight to it compared to the rest of them. And it works. It's good. Couple hundred hours play using this thing. Haven't had a single problem with my Switch coming off of this. The last one, again, like I said, you will notice the hideous color scheme. It's this monstrosity. USB-C cable. Goes into the Switch. Plugs into the bottom. You have, it's very similar to that very first one we looked at. It's essentially that product, but in a bigger form factor and a heavy weighted base. But power in, HDMI out, your single USB port on the back. This right here is actually for storing that piece. The thing with this one, I don't know if you just noticed that, but this is supposed to be attached or at least glued on, and it's not. This has bothered me since I got it. I've used this thing once, mostly because of this. So this one I probably wouldn't recommend, mostly for that fact. I mean, if that's the build quality on that side, who the hell knows what the rest of it looks like. But also, this comes up, twist around, multiple different forms. You can bring it up and down, but you're supposed to do is have your switch sitting in there. This cord goes into the bottom of it, and then switch mounts up top, kind of sitting there like that with that plugged in. I don't like this. Mostly, I mean, in the sense that it's metal and that is nice. I mean, they have a couple of rubber cushions on the bottom, but they should have really put it on this. I don't know how much I want, well, my Switch get any more scratched up than it already is. But this one is definitely a no-go in my book, as much as it has the nice rubber bottom on it, so it doesn't slide as easily as the other ones and all of that. It's just, I don't know. I don't like it. It feels like a better build quality, mostly because it's harder plastic, nice colored anodized, actually painted aluminum with a little bit of a texture on it, but it's this. This right here is what turns me off to the whole thing. And I know that's a stupid thing, but that's a simple, easy thing to fix from the factory. Crimp it, put a little bit of glue on it, whatever, keep that from sliding off. It's not like any of the electronics are going to get tore up just because the rest of it is just that injection molded plastic going around it. But it fits in that it's just big, clunky, and awkward. The rest of them are all fairly small, easy to fit into a bag, travel case, whatever. And kind of off of the docking station points, we got one last product. Again, everything on here is off of Temu except for the official dock, is this Game Boy case. Now, there's still a screen protector on it and that, but it's just old nostalgia style Game Boy. The buttons are raised, the screen is a little recessed in there, and it is magnetic. The closure is. But it just holds 10 Switch games and SD cards underneath it. And it looks kind of cool. But I'll just pull one of these out real quick so you can kind of see the magnets in the bottom. It's just your injection molded silicone. Same thing with the rest of the case. Pretty decent, nice. I mean, again, if you need something to hold your games in, kind of a cool little nostalgia piece. That even the case, this is exactly how it showed up. This tore up and bent and that, but the product itself was just fine sitting in there. Holds 10 games, 10 SD cards. I don't know why you'd need to hold 10 SD cards, but hey, that's you, not me. Anyways, that is the Switch docks, your portable options, and one game case. Again, this one, which was just straight up labeled Switch dock. This has been the one that I've used the most out of any of the other ones. Again, came off of Temu. That doesn't really have a manufacturer on it. Even if it did, it's probably sold by 900 other companies because they're just going to rebrand it with their name. It is the Switch dock model XDL-NS06 for Switch and Switch Lite. Last time, I don't own a Switch Lite, and I've only ever really seen one once. Can you dock a Switch Lite? And I know that's a stupid question to ask, but I've never actually paid attention. I don't think you can. That's besides the point. Anyways, thanks for stopping in. Have a good night. That has been our Switch accessories series as far as our Temu products go. Uh, thanks for stopping in. Have a good night, and we'll see you in the next one.